Boom. And we are rolling. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Fight Maniac Podcast. Should be a fun one this week, man. Should be a fun one. We do have UFC 308 taking place this Saturday in Abu Dhabi. So it's going to be an early card, which I'm kind of excited for. You know, usually when I watch a UFC fight, if it's at night, obviously I like to wind down, after I've done a bunch of things for the day and then just have a few drinks and just relax. But this one starts at 9 a.m., the prelims, so I don't know about having drinks. Maybe, maybe not. And then the main card is at 1 p.m., so probably Max and Ilya will be fighting by like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., something like that. So I'm excited for that. And then, go do stuff, I guess. I don't know. Find shit to do. I did become a dad recently, so my days are plenty busy already. I don't have to find shit to do. I already got plenty to do around here. But yeah, obviously being headlined by Max Blessed Holloway, going up and attempting to regain his title against this fucking animal of a striker, powerful dude, finisher, Ilya El Matador Topuria. So very excited for this fight. I've been looking forward to it for a while now, ever since they announced it. And obviously Max is one of my favorite fighters ever. I mean, there's nothing really more I can say about Max that hasn't been said already. He is a motherfucking living legend. He has been in the UFC for such a long time, since he was like 19 or 20, because he's also not that old. One other thing that people are kind of missing the point is that, we've had a lot of these fights recently where it's like old versus new, right? Like the old generation fighters that have been in the game for a while versus this new up-and-coming buck. This is kind of that, but not really though. Not really. We think of it because Max has been in the UFC for such a long time, and he has such an impressive career in a short amount of time. He did it. But Max is only 32, bro. Max is only 32. By many considered still on his, athletic prime. I think your athletic prime is like athletic prime. Fuck, why can't I say that? Athletic prime. Many people consider it to be between 28 to like 32, 33, I guess. Maybe like a younger, like 26, 27. So Max is still in that. Max, I think because he had those couple of losses against Volk, he was counted out a bunch, I feel like, right? Oh, washed up dude, older dude. But man, he's still young. He's still very, very young. He could easily regain this title. I'll give you my official prediction here in a second. Let me just go on this little rant, okay? So obviously Max coming off of a fantastic win against Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. And, whenever that happened, he has this impressive knockout. He's winning the fight. He's dominating Justin Gaethje for 5 rounds. And then last 10 seconds, Max says, meet me in the middle, motherfucker. And they go at it. And then Parali gets, I don't know, what's considered one of the best knockouts in the fucking history of fighting. Like, that knockout was insane. You see it with the slow motion when he gets clipped and it's gonna hit the ground. You can see in the background the timer is what I love the most. In frame, you see the timer. 1 second. 1 second on the fucking fight, dude. It's insane. He gets this insane knockout. Because of that, right? Me and a bunch of people were thinking, well, maybe he gets, maybe he's not going for the title anymore at his division at featherweight, right? Maybe he wants to stay at that weight. Maybe he wants to now focus on super fights against someone like a Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier, something like that, because lightweight also has huge names as far as star power. So it wouldn't be a bad day for him if he stayed there and competed at a lightweight. That way he can make probably, maybe not the more amount of money, but like more, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he makes the same. I'm not sure. But, there was a lot of options that opened for him. After UFC 300, Max Holloway was a fighter that had a ton of options, a ton of doors open for him. But then, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I mean, really, the good thing to do is go for the title, right? We've seen it. We've seen examples of someone like a Michael Chandler, for example, right? Michael Chandler has been waiting for Conor for such a long time that it almost just put a dent in his career, put a massive pause in his career. Whether that's good or bad, that's an argument for another time. I've argued how it's kind of good because, he was going to make a lot of money fighting Conor. He didn't take damage for a very long time fighting. He probably didn't deal with a lot of injuries fighting because he wasn't training super hard. But hey, still training, still in shape. That's what you got to do. If you have a long pause like that, obviously you got to stay in shape, right? So whether you want to see that as a good or bad thing is whatever, right? So Max had that route of saying, okay, I want to fight this Conor type of characters, but maybe it'll be slower fights throughout the next couple of years, right? And I'm glad he went this route. I'm glad he chose to go for the belt because he easily could have gotten a McGregor fight, I think, if he kept pushing for it, But he decided to go for gold and not for the money, which is great. Maybe Michael Chandler should take a note out of that. Now, obviously, he's fighting Charles Oliveira, but 2 years, whatever. So he went this route, obviously going against a super dangerous opponent, super dangerous guy, Ilia Topuria. My God, the dude just sweats confidence. He is the way he presents himself, the way he talks, the way he acts. He sweats confidence. Okay, he knows he can knock the fuck out of anybody in the world. The dude has power, dude. Power. There's been a talk a little bit on the internet because obviously Max proclaims himself as the best the best boxer in the UFC. Obviously he had that amazing night against Calvin Kattar where he kind of got into this cool, kind of Matrix type of vibe where he was talking to the commentators and he was kind of dodging punches, and at the same time he was hitting and he was yelling, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC." And it's an epic moment, and that's something we get from Max every time. We get these epic moments, and that's why I love to see him, right? But now you got this guy, Ilia, who, technically speaking, his boxing is so fucking good. The guy could be, if he wasn't the UFC fighter, he'd probably be a world champion boxing. I'm not gonna lie. His boxing is so beautiful, technically accurate. Like, the guy doesn't miss. He sets up beautiful body punches, and then right immediately he knows you're hurt. Boom, he goes on top. He did it against Volk. He's done it against a bunch of other opponents, And on top of that, not only does he have a beautiful striking, we've seen him get cracked once and he survived, so that's good. You want to see that from a fighter. You want to see that he can come back. But then we also see that he does have submissions under his belt, right? He submitted Bryce Mitchell, and that's not an easy thing to do because Bryce Mitchell is a jiu-jitsu guy. He's mainly a jiu-jitsu guy, So super excited for that. I will say that, Ilia probably has the more tools to win the fight. The more chances, I would imagine. That's why, that's why he's also the betting favorite. But Max, don't sleep on Max, bro. Max also has knockout power, but obviously he's more of a volume puncher. He doesn't knock out people that often, but he has. So you can't really rule that out. We could see that. We'll see. But Max, I don't know. I don't really remember the last time we've seen Max using like a good ground game. He definitely got taken down by Volk, and that kind of, you don't see that a lot, but he got taken down by Volk, and then I think that's it. I don't remember. I have to go back and check, but I don't remember another time where Max has utilized his jiu-jitsu or his grappling too much. He's mainly a striker. So obviously Topuria has the more tools to win, right, under his belt. He has the striking, he has the jiu-jitsu, the grappling, the power. So my official prediction, I guess, is probably going to be Topuria. I don't want to say by knockout. I really don't want to say by knockout. I really want to say decision, but I don't know, man. The guy is a fucking animal, dude. If he knocks out Max Holloway, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think a lot of people will be surprised. a lot of people that are not as familiar with Topuria, because, you know, he's big because he knocked out Volk, but he's still not like a household name, at least not in the States. He's probably massive in Europe, hence why he's probably fighting in Abu Dhabi. He's going to blow up even bigger if he does knock out Max. And I think a lot of people just don't expect Max to get knocked out, again, because we've never seen him get knocked out. I'm just going to predict the Ilia Topuria win by decision. That seems like the safe thing to do. However, Max is the underdog, so most likely I'm going to put some money on Max. And if you want to make some good money, I'm pretty sure they have some good options for like Max by knockout or Max maybe under 2.5 or something like that. You know, those odds will probably increase and definitely give you a little bit more money on that. So I'm definitely excited for that. I think Ilia will probably hurt Max, maybe wobble him, but if Max is able to survive, he'll definitely land some good clean shots. But then if Ilia will then mixes it and takes it to the ground and takes Max down, the way I kind of see this fight playing out is like this, okay? It's Ilia having the slight advantage on the feet, not knocking out Max, having the slight advantage on the feet, maybe outboxing him a little bit, but then also mixing a takedown here and there, right? That's how you solidify that win, because if you leave it up just to the judges, just in a straight striking match, who knows, right? You never know what could happen with these fucking idiot judges that we've seen in previous cards. So I think you beat him on the feet, and then you also take him down a few times during the fight. Not that crazy. Maybe 3-4 takedowns. Maybe he stuffs one of them. Whatever. You try again. You get him down. Maybe a submission. We'll see. I mean, I'll have to see how Max's ground game has been recently, but a submission wouldn't be also off the table for Ilia. And this is what I'm saying. Like, he has those tools. Wherever the fight goes, he's capable of ending the fights. Now, we've never seen him against Max fucking Holloway, so we don't know if he's able to finish the fight against Max Holloway. It's kind of like a similar situation to Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. I don't think nobody expected Dustin to last as long as he did. Dustin's a little older, so the example is not as good, but you have a similar situation here where people are saying, well, maybe it's a first round knockout, maybe it's a second round knockout, or Ilia wins under 2.5, so I think we might see a situation where Max and Ilia, they go the distance a little bit. Maybe it ends in the 5th round. We'll see. But I definitely hope it goes to the distance, and then that's my prediction is Ilia outboxes Max, and then he takes him down, and then he wins it by decision, right? I hope he doesn't knock him out. I fucking hope he doesn't knock him out. But, hey, we'll see what happens. Max does have a chin on him, so I guess we have to wait for that. It's not a great thing to have, it's not a great thing to say, oh, that guy has a chin on him hitting punches, because, I mean, even if you look like, for example, the Calvin Kattar fight, right? I mean, he got touched up in that fight, and he got clipped. Look at the Volk fight. He also got clipped. He had a nasty cut. So Max does get hit. That's what I'm saying, bro. The knockout is right there, too, bro. The knockout is right fucking there, dude. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But, my future prediction, sorry, I'm rambling, is Ilia Topuria by decision. Then we have a very, very fantastic fight, the co-main event. A fight that was rescheduled because it was supposed to happen a few months ago. It's Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Boris Chimaev. I think Khamzat, to start off with him, he's been a guy that has been a little inactive. Definitely, he's had some health issues for what we've seen him. I saw a crazy stat that, what was it, like, something like every time Khamzat has been either a main event or a co-main event, he's never made it to the fight. Because, this is a issue that goes back before this last year or so. Like, he has been just not super active. I mean, he did have a few years there where he fought, in 2018, he fought 4 times. So that's great. Actually, never mind. Sorry. I'm looking at his record, but that's out of the UFC. That was at Brave CF, the organization that he was beforehand. So 2020, he fights in the UFC 3 times, which is perfect. Twice in July, by the way. Fucking insane. So right there, we're like, oh my God, this guy is going to be active. He's dope. He's the new next guy. It's him. It's Timothy. Then 2021, he fights once. 22, he fights twice. And then 23, once. So he hasn't fought since. Obviously, his last fight was against Kamaru Usman. One thing we noticed with Khamzat is that if you look at the Usman fight or some of the, for example, like the Gilbert Burns fight, which was, by the way, one of my favorite fights ever. The fight was fantastic. He starts off very strong. He comes off like a fucking banshee. He wants to take you down immediately and submit you. He's good on the feet. He's got good striking. He can crack, so watch out for that as well. But as the fight goes on, I think the fight is going to benefit Whittaker, right? Now, for a couple of reasons, because Khamzat gases out. I mean, he comes out like a fucking banshee, but then, trying to take somebody down for the first 2 rounds in a row, like that exhausts you. So if Robert is able to survive that early chaos from Khamzat and stuff a takedown or 2 and then find some success on the feet, I really do think he'll get the dub. Yeah, I think that being a 3-round fight, it definitely benefits Khamzat. I so wish this was a 5-round fight. I think this deserves to be a 5-round fight, which is the same thing I wanted with the Kamaru Usman fight, because you give Kamaru Usman 2 more rounds, he probably wins the fight. I'm kind of seeing a same scenario here where Whittaker, Khamzat will come out strong and then he'll take him down. Whittaker, if he survives, let's say he finally survives the takedowns by like round 2, right? And now he finally finds the group on his feet. Well, now you only got 1 round to prove yourself. And if you get taken down in round 3, you're toast. The fight's over. Well, not over, but you lose the fight and you lose by decision, right? But if you have 2 more rounds, Khamzat gets tired from all the takedown attempts, then you can get to work on the feet. So that's why I really wanted this fight to be a 5-round. It sucks that they're not doing it. It's fucking crazy. Like when you have 2 big names like this, and this is obviously a title eliminator fight, which I'm gonna touch on here in a little bit too. When this is clearly a title eliminator fight, like make it a 5-round fight. Like give us what we want. Give the fans what we want. And also kind of takes away that advantage for Chimaev and kind of evens the playing field a little bit. Makes him train a little longer because he's training for 5 rounds, so he's in better cardio. So I wish it was a 5-round fight. Unfortunately, it's not. So because of that, Khamzat has obviously the better odds. Obviously, Robert is the underdog at +205, so I'll probably put some money on him. Yeah, I bet always on the underdog, okay? I want to make money, right? But my official prediction, if I had to make one, is obviously Khamzat Chimaev. I want to say, I love Robert. I really love Robert, and I wish he would get another title shot. I think he will be a really dominant champion, and he would be a guy that's he's entertaining to watch no matter what. He's a good dude. He looks mean as fuck, but he's really like super fun and friendly guy. From what I see on video, obviously I don't know him. He's also a previous champ, so I mean, it would be great for him to become a 2-time world champ. However, Khamzat, man, he's just on a path. If he's able to get past Robert, I mean, he is right there. Khamzat has been the guy. Ever since he started in the UFC, he had massive hype. And ever since then, everyone said this guy's next. Everyone thought he's going to ragdoll through absolutely everybody, which he has, but not against the top guys, right? Like, he didn't ragdoll Gilbert Burns. He didn't ragdoll Kamaru Usman. So those obviously were tougher tests for him. But, man, if he's able to get past Robert, let's say a 2nd round submission, that's going to be my official prediction here. Is a 2nd round submission by Khamzat Chimaev. I do believe that, I mean, he's for sure next up for the title, right? Let's look at this rankings right now, because Robert Whittaker is number 3 in the world. You have Izzy, who's number 2, and Sean Strickland, who's number 1. Now, we haven't heard news about this, but the talk of the town is that DDP, the current champ, is going to fight Sean Strickland, right? That's the fight that, I don't know if Dana confirmed it after the Izzy fight, but that's the fight that pretty much was like made, I guess, but not fucking, it's not set in stone. And so who knows? There's also been talk of Izzy fighting Strickland for also a number one contender fight, but in my opinion, this is the number one contender fight, right? Because if you go back and you look at some of the previous fights that we've had in this division, it makes sense. It makes total fucking sense. It makes total sense. And we also have a division that the belt changed hands recently a couple of times. It went from Izzy to Sean to DDP. So pretty much the belt is up for grabs. DDP's only defended the belt once. He hasn't been a dominant champion yet. He could, but when you got Hamzat coming after you, it's going to be fucking difficult. It's going to be so difficult. If I have to make a crazy prediction too, I'll probably predict that Hamzat is champion by summer of next year. I do believe that maybe he gets past Robert. And then I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do DDP versus Izzy or DDP versus Sean, but I do believe that whatever happens, Hamzat gets a title shot next year before summer, and he becomes champ. If I had to guess, it'd probably be against either DDP or Sean Strickland. Who knows? Maybe they fight early in the year. I don't know. We'll see what happens with there. But I'm very excited for this division because, again, it's exciting when the belt goes around a few times, right? When you have a dominant champ like Izzy, it's fun to watch and it's great to see greatness being made. But, it's just more exciting to have way more fighters in the rotation. So, yeah, I like it. I like this fight for a number one contender fight. I think it'll be dope. And, yeah, I think, obviously, whoever wins is next for the title. So, that's out of the question. Maybe after Sean Strickland. I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if... I think Strickland for sure wants the belt. I think that's the easy and the smart thing to do. It makes sense, right? But he also, because it was a super close fight the first time against DDP, so he kind of deserves a rematch. But he also wasn't... Oh, wait. Does Sean have a fight booked? I feel like Sean has a fight booked. He doesn't, right? Let me double check before I'm yapping. No, at the moment, he does not have a fight booked, but I don't know if I heard rumblings or something of him against somebody else. Maybe like Imabov or something like that. I don't know. But no, I don't think that. I think I'm bullshitting. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I think this is clearly an opportunity for Hamzat to go up and achieve greatness and get that title shot. So shout out to him. But I do think he gets past Robert. I think Robert... Don't sleep on Robert's wrestling, though. Robert has also phenomenal wrestling. So I wouldn't be surprised if he stuffs quite a few of those takedowns from Hamzat. But, if he wants to win somehow, he has to definitely stuff the takedowns and then find some success on the feet. Maybe even take him down. Maybe even take Hamzat down. If he takes Hamzat down, he'll be making a fucking statement like, hey, guys, the fuck? You counted me out? You disrespect me like that? Hopefully that happens. That'll be amazing. My official prediction, and then I'll stop rambling, is definitely Hamzat Chimaev by submission, round 2. And then we have a few fun fights. Nothing this big, literally, as this co-main and main event. We might have another title eliminator fight here, which is Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. Obviously, light heavyweight, we have a extremely dominant champ in Alex Pereira, who just obviously coming off a massive win against Khalil Roundtree. And everybody has been saying that, Magomed Ankalaev was the next guy, even before Khalil got the fight, So, but then he got booked for this one, so that's fucked. Another thing that's fucked, by the way, is that the Pereira and Khalil Roundtree fight got booked after this fight got booked, yet they fought first. I don't know, it's weird. So Magomed has been waiting for a while for a fight. And now he's going against Tough Test and Alexander Rakic. But my official prediction for this one is probably going to be Magomed Ankalaev. I think he gets past it. I think he is a super well-rounded opponent. A lot of people will say that, he was going to be next in line to be champ, but then he had a draw against John and then a no contest against Johnny Walker. So, tough couple of fights there. But I mean, other than that, he's fucking undefeated. I mean, not undefeated. He lost one in the UFC. So his record is 19-1. Insane record there. Obviously, a lot of TKOs as well for a guy that's primarily a wrestler. A lot of TKOs here. He fought Young Cutelaba twice, in October 24th and then February. Is this correct from ESPN? Let me double check. Give me 1 second here. Let me see. Magomed Ankalaev. You Fight History. Load more. He fought Cutelaba. Yeah, ESPN is wrong. What? No, he did fight Cutelaba twice. And he beat him twice by KO? That's crazy. Is this correct? I'm seeing a February 29 TKO win on the first round versus Cutelaba, and then an October 24 first round win TKO also against Cutelaba. What? Oh, well, whatever. I guess the website don't lie, right? I don't think I watched that one. That one was in 2020. So, yeah, I don't think I watched that, but that's crazy. But hey, back to my main point, the guy also has knockout power, which he has a few knockouts in his career. In his latest fight, he also knocked out Johnny Walker. So the guy has a knockout power. I really want to see him against Alex. I think that makes sense. So I really want him to win this fight. I feel bad for Rakic, but, if you look at his past two opponents and now this one, brother, I don't think nobody's had a tougher fucking last couple of fights than this guy, bro. Just look at his last 3 fights, okay? Look at his last 5 fights, all right? Anthony Smith, murder. Thiago Santos, fucking murder. Won those 2, by the way. And then John Blachowicz, former champ. And then Jiri Prohaska, former champ. And now he's going against the undefeated Dagestani wrestler Magomed Ankalaev. I mean, dude, this guy's had probably one of the toughest last 5 fights in the entire UFC, And before that, I mean, he's had a lengthy career as well, so shout out to Rakic. Super fun guy to watch. But man, he's had a rough couple of fucking, not rough, but like just hard fights, man. Bad matchups. 2 former champs back-to-back. Or I don't know if they were former back in the day, but, 2 champs back-to-back, and now just a fucking undefeated contender who's probably next in line for the title. Like, tough. So, it's hard for me to predict the win for him. He's also a massive underdog, so if you want to make some money, you can throw, some money his way, but I really don't think he's going to get this dub. I really, really doubt it. My official prediction for this one is Magomed Ankalaev. I'll say by decision, though. A knock on Magomed was also that, he's a decision fighter, bro. That's why maybe he didn't get the title shot right away against Alex Pereira, But, I mean, if you look at his record, like I already said, he has a lot of TKOs and some submissions. He does have a lot of decisions, though. He had 3 in a row against Thiago Santos, against Ozdemir, and Krylov. But then he had 3 knockouts in a row. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's 50-50. He's not just a straight decision guy, but, he does have a lot of them. So, that is the one knock on him. But, hey, you're watching MMA, bro. So, I also want to talk about this. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, boring to watch wrestler fighters, right? I mean, look, if you want to watch wrestling, go watch wrestling. If you want to watch jiu-jitsu, go watch, a jiu-jitsu tournament. Like, if you want to watch only striking, go watch boxing or go watch kickboxing or, taekwondo. But yeah, that should be also a pretty fun fight. Scrolling down here too, we also have Dan Ige versus Leron Murphy. I really hope Dan Ige gets this dub, man, especially because of what he did against Diego Lopez. He pretty much saved the card, well, not the card, but he saved that fight for sure, who Diego Lopez was supposed to fight what's his name, Brian Ortega. But then Dan Ige stepped in because Brian Ortega got sick, so that was fucking legendary. I don't take a lot from that fight, even though he lost. But, it was super last minute against a guy that he probably hadn't watched a lot of tape on him. So I don't take a lot from that fight. But, hey, Dan Ige also a savage. Both him and Murphy have been in the UFC for a little bit. So I'm really excited for this one. I will predict a Dan Ige win, I want to say. Let me see here. Let me think. Leroy Murphy has three decisions in a row, one TKO, and then a decision, and then a TKO, and then a decision, and then a TKO. Dan Ige has, let me see here, a loss, TKO, two decisions, one of them being a loss, but then a TKO, a lot of decisions too. So yeah, it's tough, man. I think I'll predict a Dan Ige win by decision. That's, I think, the safe way to do it, but yeah. Then we have another exciting fight, Shara, the Bullet, Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. I've seen this guy Armen before, right? Let me see who he's fought. He fought Borrallo. He fought Rodriguez. So he's been around a little bit. He's been in the UFC since 2022, so just 2 years. But he's going against a tough matchup, dude, man, in Shara, the Bullet, Magomedov. I mean, another Dagestani problem. Different, though. I've talked about this before, how he's from Dagestan. He also has one eye, by the way, which is fucking insane. He's from Dagestan, but he does not really he's not a wrestler. He's primarily a striker. So he's a little bit more entertaining to watch. But, undefeated guy, crazy fighting style where he just goes out and tries to get the finish, and it has power and has speed. So I'm excited for this one. I do predict the Shara Bullet win. Probably Armen is the biggest underdog in this. Let me check. No, he's not. Oh, wow. Damn, the biggest one is probably his Rakic, for sure. Rakic is the biggest underdog so far. Maybe there's more below, but out of the biggest fights, he's the biggest underdog. Another fight I'm super excited about, by the way, is two veterans. We have Jeff Neal versus RDA. I'm really excited for this one. This could potentially be fight of the night. I'm between this one and maybe the Shara fight for fight of the night. I think those two have potentials. Both those guys a little bit older. Obviously, RDA is slightly older than Jeff Neal. But I mean, talk about the experience that both these guys have, bro. Just look at the names that these guys have been in there with. Starting with Jeff Neal, he's been with Ian Gary. By the way, his last two fights, Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Tough fights right there. Lost both of them, unfortunately. But, it is what it is. I mean, you go against those two guys. But, I mean, he's been there with those guys, with Vicente Luque, with Neil Magny, with Wonder Boy, with Ponzinibbio, with Mike Perry, with Belal Muhammad, the new champ, and he beat him in 2019. He beat him by decision, so that's fun. He's been there for such a long time. He also lost against Kevin Holland in another organization, XKO Extreme Knockout 34. So shout out to XKO. The guys have been there with some of the best. But the same can be said against for RDA. The guy is an absolute fucking animal. I think he for sure was before a 55, right? But when now he's older. I'm imagining he's now doesn't want to cut the weight, so now he's fighting at welterweight, which is smart. But he's been there with some of the best, dude. He's been there with Moicano. That was a fun fight, by the way. Him and Renato Moicano. That's kind of like when Renato was kind of coming on and still, not a super well-known guy, but he was coming up, and that was fun. He's been there with Vicente Luque as well. They share that opponent. Paul Felder, Michael Chiesa, Leon Edwards, Kevin Lee, Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, Tony Ferguson. Bro, this guy has been there. Khabib, this guy's been there with some of the best fighters in the world. And I'm super excited to watch this fight. Obviously, RDA from Brazil, so most people will say that he probably has the advantage on the ground if it does go to the ground. However, this guy is well-rounded and he's super experienced, so if it does go anywhere, he's going to know what to do. They do have him as a BJJ guy, and they do have Jeff Neal as a striker. So this one's tough to choose, man. I don't know who's going to win this one because really it could go either way. This is the one that this should be even odds, in my opinion. RDA is kind of a big underdog. I'm definitely going to put some money on RDA plus 245. I think the fun stat, both of these guys are coming off 2 losses in a row. So who's going to get the third in a row? I don't think RDA will do that, but I'm trusting him. I'm going to put some money on him for sure. When you're a plus 245, you have to, a big name like RDA, experienced dude, you have to put some money on that. Not too, never mind. I was going to say not too old. I thought for some reason he was like 35, but he's 39. Okay, I'm rethinking now putting money on him. Still a fun fight though. Should be a fun, matchup for these two. But my official prediction right now, let's do it, is RDA. Let's do that right now. Fuck that. Another fight I'm excited for is Chris Bennett. I've seen him fight. He hasn't been too active recently, I think. He fought last, and in 2022, he's gone 2 years without fighting. But he's a heavyweight, and he's known for doing some crazy shit. He comes out and does backflips, front flips, he does the splits, I think. Like, he is crazy athletic, but he's, chubbier guy, obviously. It's always super fun to me when you can have a heavyweight that looks like Francis Ngannou or Cyril Gane, some of these guys that are fucking shredded. And then you can have this guy, which, like for better words, on the chubby side. So shout out to him. I hope he gets this dub. So that's my prediction for that. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the announcement that we had I think last week or two, was UFC 310. Obviously the December card. I was very excited for this one because there was only a few options. There was only a few possibilities that this card could have been. The first one, the biggest one, was also obviously Conor. I think everybody, or, including myself, thought. All I'm saying is, I'm not ever. I learned my lesson. I fucking learned my lesson. I am never, ever gonna talk shit against Belal Muhammad again, before this Leon Edwards fight. And it wasn't just me. I admit it wasn't just me. Before this Leon Edwards fight, everybody was like, oh, he's a boring fighter. He's a decision fighter. He has no knockouts. And, I think it's different to say you're a boring fighter versus a guy that is highly technical. I think that's the one takeaway that I had against the Leon Edwards fight. I mean, a well-rounded technician all over. Striking, grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. Like, no matter where the fight goes, this dude is prepared. And he is a super hard worker. That's why it's tough now to bet against him, right? However, Shavkat is a fucking monster, dude. Shavkat is a fucking monster, undefeated savage, bro. Undefeated savage. I mean, that's wild. I mean, that's fucking wild that you're gonna make Belal defend his title for the first time against Shavkat Rakhmonov, dude. I mean, fuck, I don't want to count Belal out because I've learned my lesson, but I do think Shavkat has this one in the bag. But yeah, I'll give you my prediction as the fight gets closer. A few more fights get announced. We have Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura, who's making his UFC debut. By the way, has this ever happened before? Fun fact, making his UFC debut, right? Coming from Raisin, whatever you want to call that organization, and immediately fighting for the title. That's not good. In my opinion, that's not good because it shows that the flyweight division might be fucking cooked. Okay? Not in a good way. Not in a good way. I think the fact that we're seeing a champ from another organization come in and immediately get a title shot, tells you that this division might be in trouble. I've heard rumblings. I've heard the rumblings before. They kind of died down for a little bit, but I've heard the rumblings that flyweight might have been getting cut, might be going away. I don't know. But, they just had a great fight night the other day with Brandon Royval. That was a good fight. I think Moreno is fighting soon, or he already fought, maybe? No, he's fighting soon in fight night, yeah. So that should be a fun fight right there. So, I don't know. I've heard mixed things on that. I've heard that it's going away, but they keep putting on fights. So, whatever. It is interesting, though, that we're getting a guy that is making his debut and is immediately going for a title. I mean, that's crazy, but hey, whatever. I kind of want to put money on him just because, I like the unpredictability, but, Alexander Pantoja is fucking good. He's a good guy. He is a well-rounded striker. He has heart. He is durable. He walks through fire for his wins, and he's done it in his 3 defenses so far for his title. The one against Moreno was the big one. He walked through fire for that. The one against Brandon Royval, that one was a bit more chillaxed. He wasn't more in control. Then this last one too against Steve Erceg, also he was more a little bit in control. But hey, all decisions, so that's kind of tough, Then we have a heavyweight showdown in Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. This should be a good fight because, I'm excited for heavyweight right now. I'm excited for heavyweight. I talked about it a bunch in previous episodes, how, this whole John Jones thing, and then Ngannou leaving, and then also rumblings of Alex Pereira jumping in, and then you have this young interim champ and Tom Aspinall. It's an exciting division right now, and I think we're going to eventually culminate into a champion versus a number one contender fight, right? Whether that is John Jones Aspinall, which might not happen. It's looking to me like it's going to be Tom Aspinall versus the winner of Cyril Gane and Volkov. That's 100% what's going to happen. And if I had to guess, if I had to make an official prediction, it's probably going to be Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane for the undisputed belt strap. I think it makes sense. I think what happens is John Jones retires in November. Stipe retires in November. Cyril Gane defeats Volkov in December. And now you have your main event for, a card in March or maybe like early summer or something like that. Or maybe sooner than that. Let's get the people what they want. But yeah, it's going to be Tom Aspinall, the interim, going up against Cyril Gane for the undisputed. So I'm excited for that. That's my official prediction for that. And once that happens, I'll let you know that I predicted that so that you know that I'm a fucking genius. But yeah, excited for that. Then we have, boy oh boy, Vicente Luque versus Nick Diaz. This also was supposed to be, I don't know, I think they were supposed to fight like the last pay-per-view, I think, or this next one. But yeah, I mean, Nick Diaz coming back once again. Of course, he had that first initial comeback against Robbie Lawler. That didn't go that well. So I don't know why he's fighting again. There's speculation that it's because of money, because he owes people money, whatever. But, you just hate to see that. You just hate to see a guy who's such a legend, bro. Him and his brother, such a legend. His brother, by the way, beefing. I saw the latest news. I saw the Ariel Helwani show, and his brother, Nate, was beefing with Brendan Schaub, out of all people, which is funny. And, they might do something. Honestly, just fight, pussies. I know Brendan said that maybe he wanted to do a grappling match. Bro, just fight. Just fight. Go to Bare Knuckle. Go to Game Bread and fucking fight. They'll set that up in a heartbeat. Just call Masvidal. You all know each other. Just call Masvidal. Say, hey, I want to fight Nate Diaz. Set it up. Done. Boom. Masvidal will be fucking so umped for that. I lost my train of thought. He will be so umped for that. He will be fucking excited. He for sure put that on his promotion. 100%, dude. That fight will do numbers if that does happen. I don't know. Everyone's kind of talking about it, so we'll see. But yeah, Ariel Helwani did a great job at breaking that down. If you want to go check that out, I'm not gonna go into that because that's more like fantasy shit. That's more, influencer boxing, I guess if you want to call it, esque type of situation, which I do talk about. It's not beneath me, but whatever. It is what it is. I focus more on the real fights that we have in hand here. But yeah, we have Nick Diaz versus Vicente Luque. So I don't know. It's tough to call this one. I'll probably talk about it as it gets closer, but I don't like this for Nick. Especially someone against Vicente Luque, who's still a relevant, fucking contender, a guy that has, fought this year, lost, unfortunately, against Joaquin Buckley. But hey, defeated RDA last year. But I mean, hey, tough dude, still a contender, bro. Still a contender, still can put your lights out. And I think Nick Diaz is in for a tough night. I think that's what I'm thinking for that. So I hope he's all right. Again, man, this card just keeps going, bro. Holy shit. Anthony Smith versus Dominic Reyes. Oh, I'll skip this. Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evlovic. Dude. Clay Guda versus Chase Hooper. I don't know. Oh, yeah. He's good also. I remember that kid. And then Michael Chiesa to start the night. Holy shit. This card is stacked, bro. This December card is fucking stacked. I just realized this. Holy fuck. Big names, big fights, and it should be interesting. And obviously, I'll be here to break it down. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. That'll be all for this one. Obviously, I'm going to be here Sunday, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday to talk about what happened and what went down at UFC 308 after the fight, once Max Holloway is champ again. So shout out, peace, bye.